Today we're going to be learning the basics about surface area. Okay, so we're only going to do one shape today. It's a funny sounding one though. I can find surface area for and here it is, rectangular prism. For a rectangular prism. I can find surface area for a rectangular prism. And a rectangular prism, weird word. All it really means is a box. A prism, the word prism just means box. It's a box, and rectangular means that it is made out of rectangles. Okay, made out of rectangles. So it's a box made out of rectangles. So a normal looking box, basically, what we're used to seeing. You know, the Amazon box that shows up on your door. I can find surface area for rectangular prism. There's triangular prisms. Okay, and triangular would be a box made out of triangles. Octagonal prisms, parallelogram prisms. Okay, you could basically start that off with just about anything. Okay, I can find surface area for a rectangular prism. I want to pull up a picture of one. Let's use this picture right here. Okay. All right, so this picture shows the rectangular prism in two different views. It shows the box constructed. All right, here it's the box built. Here's the box built, and then it shows the box when it's broken down. If you took all the pieces and laid it all flat, that's what that box would look like there. So this is called the net. Okay, when we take a box and we lay it down flat with all its pieces, that's called the net. And the net has some interesting attributes to it. If we look, okay, we have the top of our box and we have the bottom of our box. Okay, so in the net, we probably have, let's see, the top of our box, and this might be the bottom of our box. Okay, and then your box has a front. Well, actually, let's do the back. It has a back. There's the back. See it back there? And it has a front. Okay, so here's probably the, back, and here's probably the front. And then if you look on the box, just clear all this off here for a second. All right, if you look on the box, we also have, a front and a back. Then we have a front here, and we have a back here, or we could say sides, maybe sides and sides. So those would be your sides and your sides. Okay, so that's generally how that's broken down. Now you can find surface area, using the box view, or you can find surface area using the net view. It's all pretty much the same thing. You just need to know what the pieces are. Okay, we're only going to do two because these do take quite a while. They take quite a lot of writing. They take quite a lot of space. The good news, though, is that you're only going to have one or maybe two when you get to a test or an assessment, and you get to use your calculator. So, no worries here. Okay. Example number 1. All right, let me pull one out of the photos here. Very basic example. All right. So, if you know me by now, I have a pretty set structure on how we can solve most problems. So here is the basic structure for finding surface area. The first thing I want you to do, okay, is to list all of the pieces. List all the pieces. So for this box, all right, we have a top. If we have a top, we have a bottom. We have a front. If we have a front, we have a back. And then we have a left side and a right side. So 2 sides. Okay. Now what we essentially want to do is we want to find the area of all these pieces separately. So if I go back here, I'm going to find the area of this, and the area of this, and the area of this, the area of this, the area of this, and the area of this, and then we're going to add all those areas together. So here's how you can easily break that down and keep it organized. The next thing you're going to do is write all the formulas for area. Every single shape on here is a rectangle. To find area of rectangle, it's length times width. So for each one of these, it's length times width, length times width, length times width, length times width, length times width. Okay? Next, now this is where the challenging part comes in. Next, the plugins. All right, the plugs. We need to write all the lengths and the widths, and this is where you have to start to be very careful. Okay? For the top, the length and the width. Here's our top right here. Here is our top. Okay? Here's our top, length, width. So if I look, the length of this top is 6. Okay, and taking this back up. Okay, the width of this top, this right here, lines up with this, which is 4. Okay, 4. Now, if the top is 4, the bottom's going to be the same. Check this out. All right, if the top, the top and the bottom are identical pieces. So if the top is 4, if the top is 6 by 4, the bottom is also going to be 6 by 4 for length and width. All right, now we have to take a gander at the front and the back. Okay, so I need a length and a width here. So here's my front. Here it is. Okay, I like to trace it so my brain can check it out and look at it. So it looks like my length for my front is 6, and my width lines up with this, which looks like 5. All right, so my front and my back. Now remember, your fronts and your backs are the same. They're identical. So if I go over here, if my front is something, my back is going to be the same thing. So if my front is 6 by 5, my back is going to be the same, 6 by 5. And then finally, we have to deal with the sides. Okay, here's my side. All right, here we go. Length looks like 4. And the width looks like 5. And the other side is going to be identical. It's also going to be a 4 by 5. Okay, next step. Write all the areas. Okay, so go ahead and write out all of the length times the width. So 6 times 4 is 24 centimeters squared. And then the bottom is also 24 centimeters squared. The front, 6 times 5 is 30 centimeters squared. So the back is also 30 centimeters squared. The side is a 4 by 5. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 centimeters squared. 20 centimeters squared. All right, now you're at the last step, okay? And the last step is finding the total area. So the total surface area is what we're doing here. So we're going to take all of our areas and we're going to add them all up. Now you could use a calculator for this. I'm not sure if we need one though. Check this out, all right? 20 and 20 is 40. 30 and 30 is 60. 24 and 24 is 48. 60 and 40 is 100. 100 plus 48. So our total here is 148 centimeters squared. Now, I am finding surface area, okay? Surface area. That is why my answer has to have a little 2 squared with it. Okay, so if I'm on a quiz, a test, and I'm doing this, how many points am I looking at here? All right, because this is a lot of writing, and if you have to do all this writing, you better be getting some good points for all this writing. And you are. You get a point for this, a point for writing all the formulas, a point for writing all the plugins, a point for writing all the areas, and a point for the answer. So how many points are we getting here? 5 points, because there's 5 things that you need to write down and you need to show for surface area. Okay. One more example. Example number 2. Oops, still in pink. For this one, I want you to do this one on your own. Okay? Maybe go back here. I want you to screenshot this right here. Screenshot this. Okay? Do it. Have you done it? Screenshot this? Okay. Example number 2, I want you to do this one on your own. And I want you to see how you do. Okay? And use that screenshot as your structure to go off of. Okay, so I'll start it for you. You need to list all the pieces. You need to list all the formulas. Side note, before we move on, formulas, why is it important to do that? I mean, they were all length times width for this because what we're using has all rectangles. In the future, though, you're going to use the same process, and it's not all going to be rectangles. I mean, a triangular prism has triangles. Octagonal prism has octagons. There's going to be different formulas you're going to need. Okay? Then you're going to list all the plugs, the plugins. Then you're going to list all the areas. And then you're going to say what the total area is, the final answer. Okay? So I want you to pause the video. Try this on your own. When you get your final answer, hit play. Okay. You should be done. You should have your final answer happening here. Okay? So let's see how you did. So we have a top. We have a bottom. We have a front. We have a back. We have a side. And we have a side. It's a rectangular prism. Every shape on here is a rectangle. Okay? So that's all going to be length times width. 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 All right, plugins. This is the part where it can get confusing. So we got to slow down and be careful here. All right, the top. Here is my top. Okay? Now, this one has a grid built into it, which is awesome because I can count the units here. I mean, I could look, the length is right here, and I can see it lines up with the bottom, which is 4. But I could also count. I could go in here and go, okay, check this out. The length covers 1, 2, 3, 4 units. So my length would be 4. Okay, and my width, I could see it lines up with here, and that would be 3. But I could also go, look at that, 1, 2, 3. So 3 units. In this case, they're using centimeters. Each one of these units is counting as a centimeter. Okay, so if my top is 4 by 3, my bottom is going to be identical, 4 by 3. Let's check out the front. All right, the front is this right here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 for the length, and the height looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 for the height. And it's also labeled that way. You can see on the picture as well. If the front is a 4 by 5 rectangle, the back is identical. So it's also going to be a 4 by 5 rectangle. All right, for our last piece, the sides. Okay, here's my one side that I can see. So if I look, it looks like the length is 3 and the width looks like 5. And the other one's going to be the same, 3 by 5. Okay, so now I'm ready to write my areas. So I'm going to go ahead and do the calculations. If you needed a calculator at this point, you could use one. 4 times 3 is 12, so 12 centimeters squared. 12 centimeters squared. 4 times 5 is 20, 20 centimeters squared. 20 centimeters squared. 3 times 5 is 15, 15 centimeters squared, and 15 centimeters squared. And you could use a calculator here to total all these up. I'm not quite sure that you need one because 15 and 15 is 30, 20 and 20 is 40, 12 and 12 is 24, 40 and 30 is 70, and 70 plus 24 is 94 centimeters squared. So that's your total answer. You should have got 94 centimeters squared. If you didn't get that,